everyone. Our sincerest apologies for being late today. However, do not worry, we have a full team and the session will be very fruitful for you. My name is Fika. I am the Alumni Relations Officer at HyperionDev and will be coordinating today's event. With us today, we have the full team at Deep Ivy Incorporated, the team who is on a mission to unify AI frameworks, infrastructure, and hardware, accelerating development, research, and deployment in process. All of this is achieved in only one code needed for the end user. Just a reminder that this session will be recorded and the recording will be shared with you directly after this event. Please look out for the live storm email that will contain the recording. The career services team will also share the recording with you, including the slides of this event. I do see some thumbs up. Great. That's really nice. Please do post any questions that you might have in the questions tab, and we will handle them throughout the session. I will now hand over to Daniel Linton, who is the CEO of Deep Ivy. Over to you, Dan.
Amazing. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the really, really kind introduction. I have to say it's incredibly exciting having so many people in the audience. I can see this number 380 something flickering, so that's amazing, and yeah, really huge honor to be here. And also thanks for the very kind emojis as well. Yeah, so I thought what would be best today is basically to, rather than me monologuing as I often do for kind of lots of time explaining everything myself, I thought it'd be great for you to really meet everyone on the team, hear from them about their own experience working at Ivy, kind of their own backgrounds, what teams they're leading, and so on. On a high level, as Fika introduced, basically we are trying to unify everything in the AI stack, which is the frameworks, the compiler infrastructure, and the hardware as well. Really to make AI faster, to make it more flexible, more interoperable, and more convenient for everybody, whether it be builders or end users. And I thought what would make most sense today is basically to start off just to set the context a little bit. Basically, when people join the team, everybody in their first week or two of their internship basically get to explore all of the various teams. So you kind of, you introduce yourself, you speak to the team leads, you speak to the sub-team leads of the various teams, and just really try to align what you're working on with your own interests. So you might kind of find, two particular aspects of Ivy really interesting, and we really encourage all interns on the team to dive into what interests them, and that ends up with everybody doing the best work. So as a bit of a flavor of kind of what the first week at Ivy looks like as an intern, we're going to hear from all of the team leads leading all of the various corners of the organization in different areas, and yeah, hear from them a bit. So anyway, without extending my monologue any longer than it already has been, I'll now hand over, if my thing works, I'll now hand over to Arno, who leads operations, and let him kick us off by telling us a bit about that.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it. I have to apologize to everyone first because I'm going to have to dash very quickly after my presentation. I'll leave Dan and the team answering the questions if you've got any for me. But really glad to be here, and I apologize for the music in the background as well. I had to sit myself in a hotel near the train station, so sorry about that. So my name's Arno. I lead operations at Ivy. My background is in mainly consulting with business strategy, and so business strategy, commercial due diligence in general in the digital world. I'm also a co-founder. I founded a business about 5 years ago and directed the operations for that business as well. And sort of like decided to also become an angel investor, like an amateur angel investor and coach on the side as well. And that's it about me. Like, I don't think you want to know every little bit of detail of my life, such as my writing skills or basketball skills. But if you're interested to know more, like, obviously you're welcome to check my LinkedIn profile. About what I'm doing with Ivy. So as I said, I lead the operations. I joined Ivy about a month ago. I was very impressed by the pace the team is going at, the performance, and how welcoming and super helpful everyone has been with me, and very patient as well with all my questions. So that really, truly amazing and tremendous team over here. So that's incredible. So basically, I coordinate all the different related activities to operations. I'm going to clarify now what this means in a bit more details. So basically, operations in general cover aspects of legal, recruitment, finance, accounting, and basically, I would say general housekeeping. So anything that's sort of like greasing the gears in the company is sort of like related to operations. And basically, that's anything that helps the company running in a smooth manner is my team. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you're dying to hear more about the more technical aspects of the company. But thank you very much, Dan, for the time that you allocated for my team here.
Of course. Well, also I think yeah, obviously people are interested in the technical side, but without the operations keeping everything really running, then no one else would be here or getting paid or having a company at all. So yeah, definitely a really important part of the machine.
So more than happy to connect with anyone on LinkedIn and answer any questions that you may have. And yeah, basically super happy to be part of the team. And I'll leave you in very capable hands moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Arno. And yeah, have a good flight.
Thank you so much, Dan. All right. Take care, everyone.
Okay, so then we can go over to Ved. So yeah, maybe Ved, do you wanna pick up and say a bit about the framework side?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ved Patwardhan. I'm from Pune in India. I am currently doing my bachelor's in computer engineering at Pune Institute of Computer Technology. I'm done with my bachelor's next week. Obviously, there's other things I'm curious about, like, for example, explainable AI. Outside of the technical side of things, I do consider myself as a musician. And this is my GitHub profile. Feel free to, just look through it if you want to. So talking about what I do at Ivy. So I joined Ivy about a year ago. Like I joined April last year. And in terms of my skill set, I've experienced dramatic improvements because of the people which I've been working with. And also I like the flexibility because it's completely remote. So you can work at whatever time of the day, whatever day of the week you prefer to. And I really like that. And of course, the inherent motivation of being part of something which is serving a much bigger purpose than what we are talking about in terms of the projects which exist out there. So I really like that flexibility. And of course, I like the work culture, the way the team works, the way everyone is so helpful. Like that's something which I experienced when I joined, and I've also tried to be a part of it as much as possible throughout my time in this team. So talking about the framework team now. So in terms of the framework team, like I've done 5 just kind of categorizations to just give you a brief idea. So at the center of everything is the functional API of the Ivy framework, which is unified in a way that you can write backend agnostic code for any particular framework. Then you have data classes like the array and the container to store different values in arrays efficiently and to be able to deal with them and manipulate them in a very robust fashion. Then you need to do a lot of optimizations on top of it to make the code faster. Then there's the stateful API. So the modules, the high-level trainers and optimizers and all the machine learning or the deep learning models, those come under the stateful API. And obviously, Ivy supports multiple versions. So you need to deal with multiple versions of different frameworks in order to support them so that Ivy is as robust as possible to any code base which is available out there. So these were the 5 kind of categorizations. So yeah, that is pretty much it in terms of the framework. I wouldn't take a lot of time, and probably I'll just hand it over to you, Dan.
Sounds good. Oh, yeah, sounds great. Well, thanks a lot, Ved. Yeah, I think you're definitely very modest. One of the real powerhouses, keeping the lights on, metaphorically speaking. But yeah, thanks a lot for going through that. Okay, so we can then so now we can go over to the front ends, and I'll introduce Anna, who can maybe say a bit about herself as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna. I'm from Greece, and Arno currently living in the UK. I did my main on computer engineering, and right now I'm doing a master's on machine learning at the University of Glasgow. My main interests are the computer vision and deep learning part of machine learning. And in my free time, of course, I'm a very big fan of games, RPGs, and I do try to go outside once in a while to take some fresh air and give my PC a break. So yeah, of course, this is making a clip if you'd like to check it out. Now about me as a part of Ivy, I joined last September, so about 9 months ago, and it was a very pleasant surprise for me to find a very friendly team, and I felt very comfortable asking questions from everyone, and it was very easy for me to get used to the work schedules and the different teams. It was very refreshing for me to be able to be flexible and choose my own tasks, because you're not just handed out a task without being asked whether you're interested or not. And also, of course, the time flexibility was a very pleasant surprise for me, especially since I'm doing my master's. I very much appreciate the flexibility to be able to choose my own hours and put in as much time as I can each week. And another important thing about working at Ivy for me is feeling that I'm working towards a meaningful mission. Because before coming here, I did experience the frustration of trying to write a model in TensorFlow or in Torch and trying to convert it from framework to framework. And I always thought that there should be an automatic way to do that. And when I found out about Ivy, I was very glad. So in Ivy, I'm the front-end lead, but I also work in the Ivy functional API that I mentioned earlier. So what is the front-end in Ivy? The front-ends are basically a way to connect Ivy functions with specific frameworks that already exist out there, for example, PyTorch or TensorFlow. Basically, we are trying to write functions using Ivy functions. We're trying to write functions that exactly mimic existing functions in those frameworks. They have the same inputs, the same outputs, they behave in the same way. And this is the first step for us to be able to convert them to other frameworks, essentially. And of course, it's a lasting project. There are always new functions being added based on popularity or usage frequency. And it's just great to be able to feel that we're making constant progress on this front. I guess that's it from me. I don't want to take much of your time. Let's leave it for the questions at the end, if you'd like to learn more.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks a lot, Anna. I also have to say, given that it's been, as it always is, busy days, I've actually not seen these slides until I'm watching them now, and it might seem like we've paid everybody to say that things are nice. We haven't, and it's very nice to hear that people like the process in general. That's all very nice for me to hear as well, of course. But yeah, that was really helpful. Thanks for that, Anna. Okay, so then we can go over to the graph compiler side of things, and I'll hand over now to Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So hi, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm the graph compiler team lead. So I'm originally from Blackpool in North England, but as of the past few months, I've been living in London. And my background was in mathematics, but it was more after I'd graduated that I started to get more into programming, and definitely in my role at Ivy, I've definitely developed a lot as a programmer. And playing football, athletics, and training my dogs are just a couple random things I enjoy doing outside of problem solving and programming. So a little bit about me at Ivy. I started originally 15 months ago, and I think it was me and 2 or 3 other people who started in March last year, and we were the first official employees of Ivy, which is quite cool. And originally I just started off working in the Ivy framework before I eventually convinced Dan after a few months to give me access to the graph compiler code. And I've basically lived there ever since for the best part of a year. But it's cool to see how far it's come, because at first it was just kind of a proof of concept, only worked with PyTorch and a limited amount of PyTorch at that. And it's now expanded greatly and moved on hugely from there. So what is the purpose of the graph compiler? It serves to extract a computation graph from your ML code. And that helps for efficiency purposes. So the graph compiler will have the effect of removing any code from the original function that doesn't directly contribute to the outputs. And not only that, but it also serves as the first step in transpilation, which is the process where we convert code from one AI framework into another one. So from PyTorch to JAX, for example. And the compiler currently supports 5 backends: PyTorch, TensorFlow, JAX, NumPy, and PaddlePaddle. But this will likely expand. And the overarching goal of the compiler team is to increase the coverage of the compiler transpiler as much as possible. And what I mean by that is we want to have a user be able to input any model or function into our compiler transpiler, and we want it to work out of the box, essentially. And current research, the most exciting research at the moment, is trying to capture dynamic control flow in the graph as well. So this is referring to things like if-else statements, which currently get lost by the graph compiler, and we're trying to figure out a way to preserve this in the compiled graph. But yeah, that's all for the graph compiler team.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. I noticed a lot of thumbs up when you said you're from the north of England. I don't know if we got a lot of people in North England. Maybe.
They feel sorry for me because I'm from Blackpool, I think.
Maybe. But yeah, and obviously, like now, as you say, I kind of, I mean, you need to beg me to get you away from the graph compiler right now, to be honest, because you're keeping that machine running very, very well. Yeah, so it's kind of I guess you must be having dreams of the graph compiler when you go to sleep now. The amount of time you spend.
Yeah, it's my baby.
Deep in that code. Anyway, yeah, but no, awesome. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks.
Okay, so then we can go over next so we move now on to the deployment team. And I'll now hand over to Vatsalya, who can tell you a little bit about his background and also a bit about what the deployment team is doing.
Hey everyone, I'm Vatsalya Shrivastava. I'm originally from India, currently residing in the UAE for quite a while now. I have a bachelor's in physics. I'm also working towards getting a master's in quantum computing. I have a really deep interest in AI and especially compiler designs in AI. I love researching about quantum field theory, and on the side, I like watching anime as well. So about me as Ivy, I've been in Ivy for about 10 months now. I've learned a lot from everyone on the team. Everyone's really willing to help you out when you need it, and you really learn to solve difficult tasks in Ivy. Not to say that everything's difficult, but it's just that you learn a lot, and it's really, you learn problem solving as a whole with Ivy. Everyone's, again, willing to help. We have a great community. I've mostly worked on the design side of Ivy, but Ivy's super modular and you can work on any team you like. You can switch to working on any team you like. So yeah. So about the deployment team is focusing on binding to different compiler infrastructures. So we're currently focusing on binding to ONNX, NVIDIA CUDA, MLIR, LLVM, and OpenAI Triton. The motive of this is to get efficient hardware deployment. And to do that on all hardware infrastructure architecture. So that includes x86, ARM, RDNA, and different types of computing platforms. This would give a unified experience to the end user to deploy any AI-specific code on any hardware using any compiler infrastructure. The compiler industry currently is really fragmented, so Ivy's trying to solve that by unifying all these different compilers at different levels, basically. And we already have made a good start on our TensorRT and XLA backends, so we're looking for tons of help right now with the deployment side of things. So yeah, that's pretty much it from the deployment end. I'll save the questions for last. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, and again, I think you've done an amazing job leading this kind of new brave expansion of Ivy into some of the really deep weeds of the, as you say, deeply fragmented compile infrastructure, and yeah, hopefully we can provide some unity at that level as well as just the frameworks. Cool. Okay, so also I've noticed again, I have to say it's a huge honor. I know we're almost at 500 people now in the audience, so yeah, it's amazing there's so many people tuned in. Really an honor to present to all of you. So yeah, so let's move on over now to testing. So I'll now hand over to Mustafa, who can tell you a little bit about that side of things in Ivy.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Mustafa from Egypt. I'm still an undergrad AI student in Cairo University. Mainly, I'm interested in computer vision and reinforcement learning. I also, while working on out of work, I enjoy diving into low-level design of the code. Um, outside of Ivy, I'm sometimes I stream and play CS:GO competitively. For anyone who has interest in FPS games, I also enjoy cycling and playing the drums. Yeah. So about me as part of Ivy, I've been in Ivy for almost a year. To be honest, everyone is so friendly and happy to help. Once I joined and started, even when I had a lot of questions, everyone was really welcoming and looking to help me. Even though that the environment is being fully remote, I find it easy to get in touch with everyone in the team and reach out, and they're always there to help me out with any problem I had. I've worked in different parts of Ivy, mainly the framework, the front ends, and eventually mainly working now on the testing pipeline. So what exactly is the role of testing team? So the testing team is trying to ensure that we are unifying machine learning in a correct way and also testing the stability of our code. So mainly we build a testing pipeline to test all the parts of Ivy. So for example, the framework, the front ends, and even the compiler. So we work extensively to actually build a pipeline to test all these kind of parts dynamically without having to do it manually. At the time of this event, there's over 10,000 tests written, and without being to do that dynamically, it would take forever to actually get it done. And we also work on providing a set of tools to easily allow for everyone who is just joining or someone who from the open source community to be able to test any functions they contribute to our framework without needing to know much about testing and the testing pipeline itself. The testing team also works a lot with the front ends and the frameworks back and forth to be able to test every part of the code we write and make sure that there is no gaps or holes left that could produce a bug or cause an issue in the framework itself. Mainly, we have two approaches in the testing without going deep into technicality. The first one is just unit test, and the other is property-based testing. And we make use of property-based testing in Ivy a lot, and it's been helping us to expand and scale easily, with us supporting more frameworks and backends in Ivy itself. So testing is also a main important part of CI. So I'll be handing over the CI team with Russell. He can give you more information on that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mustafa. Also, I should say, very good at organizing complex retreats, because we just had our Egypt team retreat recently and managed to pack in more activities than I've probably had in the rest of my lifetime. So another one of Mustafa's many skills. I should also say the same about Vatsalia as well, who also organized the Dubai trip. So we've got a lot of good project managers and team retreat organizers as well. Anyway, thanks a lot, Mustafa. So as you said, we can now hand over to the continuous integration team lead, and I'll now hand over to Rachel to say a bit about himself.
Hi everyone. I'm Rachel Tani. I've completed like my bachelor's and master's degrees in computer science from IIT Delhi, and I currently reside in this vibrant city of Delhi. I'm quite like a believer of the fact that technology has the potential to revolutionize people's lives, and I'm like quite passionate about the ongoing machine learning advancements. When I'm not working, I'm like either playing cricket, swimming, or reading about the capital markets. Moving on to my part here at Ivy, like I just completed an year here at Ivy last month. When I joined, like we were really very small team of ML engineers, and I really liked the way everyone helped me understand the nitty gritties of the code base. We have grown quite significantly since then, but what has really stayed constant is the alignment and motivation each team member has for the mission we are working towards. And the best part I like about being a part of Ivy is the flexibility it offers in choosing the areas you'd like to contribute to early on, allowing people to kind of naturally develop expertise in their favorite domains. And yeah, nowadays I lead the CI team here at Ivy. So moving ahead to some details about the CI or the continuous integration team is responsible for regularly testing code on the Ivy repository, acting as the ground truth for our test results. So with the latest integration of the Paddle backend, our CI pipeline now runs and maintains the latest test results for more than 12,500 tests. And this is made possible using sophisticated algorithms that efficiently achieve this objective within limited CI resources and maintaining low turnaround times for developers to kind of get feedback on their code commits. So other than this, we have a dashboard application as well that allows the contributors to filter out relevant tests and check out the latest test results for them, making it kind of easier for people to find and work on tests that are failing. Going forward, we plan to integrate multiple framework versions into our testing pipeline, and we'll have to scale the CI pipeline significantly to handle more than 1 million tests with versioning included. So yeah, that's all from my side. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, we certainly, given that we're trying to, as you say, support all versions of all frameworks in the front end and the back end, and also test their combinatorial explosion. I don't know how many unique tests there are, but as you say, kind of quite likely millions as we continue to go forward. So having some system that can kind of do that in a scalable, intelligent way that's resource sensitive is a huge engineering challenge, and one that you're doing a great job leading. So yeah, and there's even more to come. I guess the tests are only going to get more complex as time goes on. So yeah, anyway, thanks, Rachel. Also, again, I didn't tell you to, I noticed, yeah, thanks for the very kind point about the founder as well. Certainly wasn't paid to say that. Okay, so yeah, let's now move on to Shingus. So yeah, the SAS team, do you want to give yourself an introduction, Shingus?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Shingus. I'm from Kazakhstan. So initially, my background is in robotics. I finished my bachelor's degree in robotics and mechatronics in Kazakhstan, and currently finishing my master's degree in artificial intelligence from Maastricht University in Netherlands. So I have an experience working on ML and robotics at Open Robotics and BMW Group, and currently working at Ivy already for 8 months. Yeah, basically what I found about Ivy so interesting is that in Ivy you're always surrounded by talented and friendly team, and people here in the team are always open and ready to help you whenever there is some challenges arises. Everyone has a deep expertise in the things that we do on a daily basis, and the good thing is that while everyone has expertise in everything, we can jump in on an important task and help each other to solve them fastly and in an efficient manner as possible. Also, what things that I found very exciting about Ivy is that we're constantly working and exploring new technologies and best practices on a constant basis. So I guess I can explain about the technologies that we do later. And one more thing that I was really I appreciated a lot is that basically I was given an opportunity to become a SAS team lead in my first months at Ivy. So it was a huge responsibility for me, but yeah, I think I was able to meet the expectation and deliver the expected results. And so basically, as starting as an intern, I'm currently a full-time employee and full-time engineer at Ivy. And regarding the SAS team, in the next slide. So we basically, the SAS team, we are enabling reliable and smooth feature delivery at Ivy. We are basically working on a wide range of topics and technologies, and those tasks are mainly related to exciting features Ivy can bring. So we're working on the edge of Ivy and everything that is exciting Ivy can bring. In general, you can see all the stack that we are using on the right side. So we are using a lot of the GCP cloud for the containerization, for the CI/CD, for the database management, for everything. We are using the Dockerized application. We are using the Next.js application. We are having both front-end, back-end development, everything that can be useful and that can be user-facing as well. So what we did is that we are working on the pilot. We also will be working on hopefully soon the pilot and public release of our Ivy. So we are working on the application to bring that public release, and we are doing the full stack development. Our team also delivered graph caching functionalities that allowed us to reduce the compilation time of text 10x times, which saves a lot of computation time for our users. Apart from that, we are started a complex infrastructure task. This is a pretty exciting one, and the task allows to search the most optimal deployment configuration for the specific ML model. So we are basically doing the AutoML on a new level, where you're also searching different the hardware, backends, frameworks, and everything. And this is something that on the edge of the ML development. And so in the bottom you can see the stack that we use, and as you can see, we are not stick to any particular technologies. We are doing everything, and at Ivy we are open to not only developing the ML classical machine learning model development. We're open to front end, back end, to MLOps, DevOps, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Shingus. And I can also confirm that you definitely did keep up with the workload during the internship and very much earned your full-time engineer role and continue to do an amazing job leading the charge on all things SaaS. Thanks a lot for giving an explanation there. Cool. Okay, so now we can move on to the user experience side. And I also just say when introducing Guillermo that user experience is the team lead that he oversees, but he also does a ton of deep engineering, not least in the graph compiler and other areas, but he's also a man that wears many hats and taking on user experience for us as well. So I'll hand over to Guillermo now as well.
Yeah, thanks. So well, as Dan has said, I'm Guillermo and I'm from Spain actually. And I actually started studying electronics and robotics, but thankfully I was dragged into computer science and deep learning and machine learning, which is something that I find especially interesting and really exciting to work on. And I really like diving deep into pretty much anything, and I quite like the aspect of finding something new and getting to know the deep corners of it. So that's something about me. I also, outside the computer, which it's embarrassingly the place where I spend most of my time, I am trying to learn more about art and doing a little bit of exercise as well to live more than 40 years, I guess. And other than that, regarding my experience at Ivy, I would say that I've been working here for 10 months now, and you have probably grown tired of hearing this because I think it's something that everybody has mentioned, but it's incredible how helpful and how open to lend a hand is everybody in the team. And given that it's actually a team of very smart people, there is always someone who has worked on something similar to the problem that you are facing. So it's very good to have someone who is able to give you a hint or to point you in a direction that really helps. And yeah, as Dan said, I started working on the graph compiler and the transpiler, but lately I've been getting into the weeds of user experience a little bit. And regarding the user experience team per se, we basically deal with communicating what Ivy is and how to use it as clearly as possible, or at least that's the goal. And the user experience team also manages the demos page, which is one website of Ivy, which basically covers how to use Ivy and what are their functionalities. And we also manage the landing page and maybe most importantly, the docs, which is this central repository of information, which is maybe not as exciting as the rest of Ivy, but it's definitely important to have and to keep it clean. And basically what we're trying to do now is get tons of demos and guides to explain the best way to use Ivy. And the tools that we use, or our toolbox, is basically Jupyter notebooks for these demos, and well, obviously Python scripts as well, but we try to focus on getting everything publicly available on Colab. And other than that, for the web dev stuff, we use Figma, which is a design tool, and Webflow for the implementations. And on the docs side, we mainly use Quarto and Sphinx, which are tools for generating these documentation pages. And I would say that's pretty much it on the user experience side. And I'll be happy to answer any questions regarding this, obviously.
Awesome, thanks, Guillermo. I didn't know you were kind of interested in art outside, so I guess the UX overlap has some sense. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay, so I guess we can now move over to funding and sales. So yeah, I'll now hand over to Agni, who can talk a bit about that as well. Maybe there's a slight connection problem right now. Because can you unmute yourself, Agni? Maybe there's been a slight problem here because it's not working right now. Maybe Agni's lost connection or wasn't able to join. So let's quickly, just while we're here, skip over to another one. But could somebody try to help Agni join the call who on Discord or something, maybe, just in case he's having some trouble joining. But in that case, let's quickly skip over funding and sales and jump straight to Sri, who can tell us a bit about maybe not the perfect title. We might need to change this to kind of DevOps or something, because it really entails a huge number of things. But nonetheless, I'll let Sri introduce that. So yeah, and also again, another great team retreat organizer, because he took on the job of organizing the whole India team retreat as well. So we've got a lot of good kind of project managers or event organizers or something. Anyway, yes, Sri, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks for that. Hello everyone, I'm Srigant. I'm from Bangalore, India. I'll be finishing up my bachelor's in computer science in AI this year, hopefully. Then, yeah, in terms of technical interests, I'm interested in like building applications or products, anything which uses AI, always up for a challenge. And besides the technical part, I'm an amateur badminton player, love cycling. I also like tinker around with a couple of DIY projects in my free time. And yeah, that's my GitHub ID if you're interested, I guess, but there's not much there, to be honest. And talking about me being part of Ivy, it's been over a year now since I've been part of Ivy. But yeah, I think pretty much everyone kind of agrees with the same thing. That's why you see the same keywords like friendliness, because yeah, that's something which has been pretty key and core part of the company since the start. Because I think Ivy has been one of my first like a full-time role, so it's been a really nice journey, like working at Ivy and how friendly everyone is. And no matter how experienced you are, or like least experienced you are, you always feel like heard or like included in every part of the decision or something. And I mainly get involved. I'm mainly involved in the organization team or the DevOps team. We still need to figure the name out, but yeah, at that team, and we mostly kind of try collaborating with different teams, or like try creating interfaces or tools or automations on an organization level. And to go into a bit more detail on what we work on the organization team, we try like trying to create interfaces, bots, integrations tailored for like each team, and we try streamlining internal workflows and automating tasks to boost the productivity of the team on the whole. And to accomplish all these tasks, most of the tools that we use are like Streamlit to kind of create interfaces, AppScript for creating GitHub related, Google Sheets related automations or anything related to Google Workspace. We also use GitHub APIs to create one of our many bots that we've got in GitHub, and GCP's APIs or any other API tool that we find useful. And that's about it in terms of the organization team, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, Sri. Yeah, we still need to work out the name, because obviously organization is kind of just like anything that relates to the entire company and getting things that kind of automate things there. But I think as it branches into all kinds of areas like GitHub as well, as you say, it's a very technical role where obviously just adding as many automations as we can to make everything as seamless and streamlined as possible. So kind of internally facing automations is something that's really keeping us all running efficiency. And without that team, we'd be lost filling in sheets manually and doing all kinds of things. So Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot, Sri. Okay, and I guess also probably I presume that Agni had the same kind of troubles joining as I had. I was struggling to join at the beginning, but we've got you here now. It can, although the mic isn't great.
Man.
No, actually, it's okay. It's okay. I think maybe it's actually. I think it's okay. It's not amazing, but I think we can hear you, so I think it will suffice. So I'll hand over to Agni, who can. No, I think it's okay. Who can do a bit of an intro about himself on Finnegan Sales.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me clearly, right?
It's good. No, it's good. It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been saying how helpful everyone is, so this is like a perfect example. I've had like 10 people message me in like the last 5 seconds. Yeah. So quick background about me. I'm from Mumbai. I used to be a consultant in another life. I was like the typical engineer. I'm on a typical engineer MBA track before realizing I just missed tech. So instead of doing an MBA, I decided to do a master's in machine learning. Found Ivy along the way, applied as an ML engineer, and then kind of realized that I like the business side of things better, and I'm like this perfect position where I get to understand the tech, and I need to understand the tech really well because all our customers are really technical. And then I basically get to kind of sit in the middle, really, which is perfect for me. Yeah, and quick fun facts about me is I like tennis, I like F1, and I like curating Spotify playlists. They asked me to come up with some points, and this was like too much off the cuff.
You've got something in common with Felix there, I think. He seems to like curating Spotify playlists.
Oh, yeah. His India retreat playlist was next level, but I'll leave that for another time. Yeah, so about me as part of Ivy. So I joined Ivy 8 months ago. I applied as an ML engineer. But then, as everyone has said, like the great thing about Ivy is because like the nature of our work is so modular and you can have like multiple kind of separate tasks happening independently, we're given a lot of freedom to kind of chart our own path through the organization. It's not like someone's telling you have to do this or you have to do that. We literally have like a board of open tasks that you're free to choose from. And so because it was so flexible, I wound up doing more of like the funding and sales sort of those kinds of tasks, and ended up being given the responsibility to lead the funding and sales teams. And yeah, the journey so far has been super exciting. I think just in terms of, to sum up my experience, I think Ivy is a great place for people who love taking ownership of tasks and like being completely responsible for getting things done. You are given kind of, a lot of trust to get things done. And everyone's super friendly, and taking on a task that you like pretty much know nothing about is okay and even encouraged. And that's like one of the things I really love about Ivy. And obviously, like everyone's been super nice, but I'm not going to say that again and again because it's been mentioned like 10 times. Right. So in terms of funding, so I lead 2 teams, funding and sales. So funding, as the name suggests, it's all about just basically making sure we have the financial resources to do everything that we're doing. And then funding activities are basically split into 2 parts. So you have the venture capital side of things where we pitch to, we're lucky enough to pitch to some of the best investors in the world. And they not only provide capital, they also provide a lot of advice on like some of the key strategic decisions that we have to make, because these guys are like, they have many of them are technical. They have experience like starting and building and scaling companies themselves. So that's like a very, very useful network to have. And then we also apply to grants to various bodies. So for example, we recently won a grant for £500,000 from the UK government to build a source code to source code transpiler, so for human readable code. And we continue to apply for these every 3 months. Yeah, so that's pretty much on the funding side. For sales, so again, as the name suggests, sales is all about basically building relationships with our customers and making sure that we're building something that people really need and that's easy to use. So again, sales work is split into two categories. We have one side which is enterprise sales, which is talking to large companies, building like a custom product offering for them based on their needs, their specific needs. We have a fully on-prem solution. We have dedicated engineers, things like that. And so we maintain relationships with these companies to make sure that we're serving them the best way we can. And then the other part, the other part of sales is basically open source projects. So we're working on integrating with kind of some of the best, most popular open source repositories out there, so that anyone, whether you're a professional developer or a hobbyist, you can sign up for an individual pro plan for Ivy and get all the benefits that we have to offer. Yeah, that's pretty much it for funding and sales. Feel free to drop any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, Agni. We should have a closing slide. I realize there's not a question slide, so I'm just going to go back to the start. So that's now all of the so you've heard from all of the team leads now, and I guess I know we kind of run over a bit, and very much my fault for for kind of taking at least 7 minutes to work out how people join this meeting. So I'm not sure exactly through what medium we can do questions, but we certainly have time. We also on our side have time to run over a little bit. These are questions. So I see there's 64 questions. I guess we might not get time to go through them all. One thing I would actually very quickly say, should have had this on the title slide, but while we have over 500 people listening live, I would say I would strongly, obviously, encourage people to go to unify.ai. So that's UI. Sorry, it's not UI. It's unify.ai. And from there, you can join our Discord. Can't spell our own company name. From there, you can join our Discord and sign up for our waitlist and get early access as well. We're starting to roll out early pilot access. So yeah, very, very encouraging of everybody to check that out. Join the Discord. Everybody's encouraged to apply. So if you scroll down to the bottom, if you type Unify AI just into Google, it will also be the top link. So it shouldn't be hard to find. And yeah, so strongly encourage people to give our pilot a play. We're giving some dedicated early access. Also encourage people to apply to our internships, of course, because great people such as yourselves are exactly the kind of people that we're looking for. And join the Discord. The Discord is where we have over 12,500 now. Very dedicated community, and everybody's really encouraged to join in there as well. So we have now we have nearly 80 questions, so we won't get time to go through them all, unfortunately. But what actually we can do is
I think most of them are actually answered. So no.
Oh wow! So the team, there we go. That's another perfect example of the team just doing things like everyone clearly behind the scenes without me even realizing that there's a million questions. Everyone's been answering them all. So thank you all of the team leads for getting those questions answered very, very responsibly. So I guess there's no audio-based question. So what I would say for the very small questions that have not been answered, if there are any, then anybody that joins our Discord is welcome and encouraged to ask all kinds of questions on our general channel. We really strongly have a culture of there being no such thing as a silly question. You can ask a really deeply technical question, a really beginner question. All questions are encouraged and welcome and responded to. So I would say that if there's anything we've not answered, then you're very welcome to join the Discord, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. And we'll also keep answering some, obviously, as the team are doing. I can see some here. These guys are all starting their careers. So yeah, there's one question here, like in terms of there's no inhibitor in age at all. So there's a few people saying kind of they're a bit further along. Obviously, we do have a young team. There is no. So just to paint a picture on how we do hiring, just to answer a few questions, we do purely merit-based hiring with no consideration on the CV, the university, the age, the geography, anything aside from the merit of the application. And this means that, anecdotally, that it's true. Like a few weeks ago, we rejected one applicant from MIT, one applicant from Stanford, and we hired somebody who had self-taught themselves coding entirely from YouTube. And I think that's because we really strongly value people that put the time in to learn about Ivy, but also to learn about the areas that are particularly important for our applications and so on. So I would say that if you're interested in what Ivy's doing, you have the time to learn about it and put the effort in and so on, then everybody has an equal shot entirely. Is just what I would say to answer a few of these questions. But yeah, because in the interest of time, we're already at time. I know we've not answered all of the questions, but I would strongly encourage people to ask new questions on our Discord. We'll get to responding them as quickly as we can. But yeah, again, I want to just say thank you for hosting us. It's been a real honor to talk to so many buzzing engineers. I always love to talk. It's one of my many downsides is to just love to talk all the time. But I'll hand over back anyway. But yeah, such an honor to be talking here. Thanks a lot. And I'll hand back to Fika now.
Thank you so much to the team at Ivy for joining us. It was really a pleasure having you guys here. Very informative session, and we have some very good reviews in the comment section. I wish I could go through each and every one of them. However, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, HyperionDev students and bootcamp graduates. It was such a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for your interaction. Just a reminder, this event is being recorded and will be shared with you after the event. The slides will also be shared with you, and if possible, we'll definitely share the link as well. My name is Fika. I am the Alumni Relations Officer, and it has been a pleasure hosting everybody tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.